Hello, this is Sean Fry, 3B Comics here, and we jumping back in with the 3B Podcast, episode 12. And one of the topics that I want to cover in this episode basically is the importance of side characters to the main story that you're trying to tell. And I just came across this creator on my feed that posed this question. I thought this would be a real cool, interesting topic towards that. And his argument basically was with side characters, the importance of them to the overall main book that you're trying to tell, the main story that you're trying to tell, if you're a writer or just a filmmaker or anything like that, is basically your side characters towards the main arc of the book. And for the most part, I pretty much agree with him on the basis of like just as an indie creator is you fall in love with all these side characters that you want to put in your universe, the world building, all that things. But the thing is, when you're doing that at the same time, it becomes a burden on the story that you're trying to tell. Is the side character more important than the overall story that you're trying to tell? Because to most readers, they're not really going to care too much about your side character as you do as a creator, especially if you're an indie creator, because the thing is, every character that you're showing them is not really important yet. So even if the character is important to you, doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be important to the reader. And this is a discussion topic I've had like with my dad from like when he comes at me with a bunch of new characters and things like that to fill out the world, and then I always got to constantly remind them basically, is it important to the story that we're trying to tell? If we got like 24 pages to tell the story, is what is the purpose of this character to this story that we're telling? And that's like one of the big things that I just go back and forth. And the creator, I agree with all his points, because a lot of times people get caught in the world building and things like that, that they lose sight of actually putting together a decent story to get out there. And then once it gets successful, then you can bring in your extra side characters and stuff like that. A lot of it, like people try to get that kind of like overboard with the cameos, not to the extent where it hinders the story, that you're more focused on everybody else except for the main character, and that can be a detrimental piece to what you're trying to build. And what I mean by side characters is not necessarily the co-stars of the book. It's more of the cameo appearances, basically, of your universe. Characters that have no purpose to help flesh out or develop the main character in any way. It's not his recurring characters that we're talking about. It's just cameo characters. And a lot of people, because they get invested in all these cameo characters, lose sight of the purpose of the main character. And that's the main focus that you should always be looking for when you're putting together your stories and things like that. Is the side characters are cool and stuff for you, and eventually, if your main character gets over first, then they will come to your side characters too. And that's the argument that I just found with this one creator. It's really refreshing to hear sometimes, like certain things, like you kind of internalize that, but when somebody else kind of knows it too, and then you kind of say wavelengths with that. But yeah, this is something that's really been getting to me like lately, and I want to just create more content on like little topics and things that I found like just popped up on my feed basically. And I posed this question. I thought that was like really nice. But yeah, but that's my opinion on just how I feel about side characters in a universe. They should never side characters should never overshadow your main character, because the whole point of the main character is to sell the side character for later on, so you can do spin-offs and things like that. If you can't get the main character over, there's no point of the side cameo character showing up in your book anyway. And that's how I feel. If you feel any different, leave a comment, things like that, on the bottom of this video, and I'm gonna hit you back up again with more 3B content like this in the future. This is Sean Fry, 3B Comics signing out. Peace.